Alright, looks like we are getting started. So good luck to our racers, and they are off. So prologue, simple stuff, no dash. Gonna be done as quickly as I say everything here. So bunny hopping, since we have no dash, it's gonna give us a little bit more speed. And then there is a precise place to jump off at the end for the best time. Looks like both runners are at the same spot, not on the very edge. And just like that, into chapter 1. Chapter 1 is one of my favorite levels to watch because just all of the speed tech that we can see from our runners. You can see a lot of dashing that's coming out, precise dashes. That right there from Cookie is a couple pixels in order to go over those spikes. Just avoids it getting crushed right there. Very scary. Okay, grab just on top of the falling block there. That's a newer method to take that I've seen. Instead of just climbing the wall, actually getting on top, getting your dash back. Overall, very clean from both of our runners, as would be expected. Very nice from Cookie, that was very quick. Ruby as well. 157 for Cookie and a 203 for Ruby, so seconds apart, but of course chapter 1 is pretty optimized, so there's not really much room for us to see a variation coming out from high skill runners that like these. And chapter 2 is another one of those execution heavy stages that can be pretty easily messed up if takes you by surprise, but I don't expect our runners to be taken by surprise by anything coming from this stage. The only thing that I can really see being messed up would be just some execution stuff like you saw on Cookie's screen right there, missing a diagonal dash just because they're off by a pixel or so. But overall, like that's pretty much it. Lack of movement will be coming out would be another thing to look out for. But for the most part, this should be a pretty clean chapter. So watch on Cookie's screen right here how they are gonna be not gonna be going up to the top there to grab onto the wall. Ooh, hits the spikes. Fast falling. Not good. Ruby doing the same thing, gonna go between the battalions there. Right, Cookie is having an issue right here. This is one of those situations where I mentioned watch out for. The movement is more difficult than you think. Maybe they're slow fall that time. If you're not used to fast falling that section, it's pretty precise. Going too far, Cookie, come on. I believe in you. Ruby, given the chance to take the lead here. Ending the dream sequence now, getting the awake sequence. The awake sequence here, pretty easy to do. It's mostly just a hyper followed by a bunny hop, followed by something else in that sequence until you get to the end. So Ruby has completed chapter 3, or chapter 2 rather. Chapter 3 is really where this game is going to be picking up in difficulty for our runners. This is where cycles get added to the game, where you see a lot more speed tech need to be utilized because of some of the cycles that are going to be coming out if you do die. You'll be seeing some backward screen transitions and stuff. Ruby getting this cycle perfectly. He now entering chapter 3. So the real interesting speed tech is going to come out pretty soon in the big mess portion of chapter 3. One of the harder room, if not hardest room to start navigating in chapter 3 because of just all the misalignment of places to dash, the distance between like dash segments. So this room that Ruby's on is what I was referring to. Notice how like there's so many places that are just short enough distances for like a single dash. So watching people optimize this room is very cool. Ruby is now on the first portion here of the big mess. There are 3 portions. You can go any direction you want to starting out the big mess, but we choose a specific path, because it places us right out where Oshiro would be when we finish it. Both runners now on the second portion. I believe Cookie's on the third portion, looks like. Could be wrong. The third one. No, second one. So both runners pretty much neck and neck now, about less than 10 seconds between each other. Pretty cool corner jump there by Cookie. Very close on those Dust Bunnies. Gets another corner jump. Some slight optimizations using that corner jump there. Pretty neat to watch. Okay, so the big mess is done for both of our runners. Now we're gonna see, just like that on Cookie's screen, some interesting movement. Some hype, ultras probably, if I'm not mistaken. Very cool movement to see. Like a shotgun of speed forward. Okay, Ruby's gonna go for this quick dash segment here, gets it the second try. We can get it first try, that's just all the more amount of time that they can catch up. Does get it the first try, so now we are again less than 10 seconds apart. Ruby is now they're even, just like that. 2 deaths from Rubydragon, and we are now neck and neck. So the Oshira fight is another one of those cycle-based rooms, just with an added element of a timer-based hacking boss. After a certain amount of time, Oshira will dash across the screen. If you get hit, you die. Simple as that. But if you can still bop him on the head to get him to kill him for the moment, then he goes back to being on the edge of the screen on the left and doing another dash. So it's just a way of, you can get your dash back if you really wanted to try to get some speed and ignore him. And just like that, Cookie is done with the fight. Rubydragon on the last portion here just gets right underneath him. He entering chapter 4 here. Chapter 4 is another movement intense chapter because of this wind element. It'll prevent us from moving forward, and then towards the end of the chapter, it'll prevent us from even moving without dashing, getting like pixels every second because of how fast the speed of the wind is. So you can see our runners optimizing, dashing just like on, you saw right there from Cookie, trying to get as much out of a dash or movement as possible to not have to deal with so much with the wind. Cookie going here for a spike jump. It's a third try. Chapter 4 is one of those other chapters that are pretty well optimized. It's not as optimized as chapter 1 or 2, but being able to take advantage of the optimizations that are there, that have been figured out by our runners, or the higher class runners in the community, is very advantageous if you are able to take advantage of the optimizations. Like there from Cookie, you don't have to go over the spikes. You can do a reverse dash and get over stuff, or get under stuff, I guess. Another optimization right there. All these little things. Cookie on one of the harder rooms of chapter 4. If you use the optimizations correctly, you could just avoid having to worry about the wind and then use it to your advantage. Getting ahead of this block here, saving a couple frames. Having to worry about the snowball now is the final element of chapter 4 that gets added on top of super heavy wind. Our runners are good enough to not really have to worry about it. They're going to be using it to their advantage. Like you can see Cookie there taking the bunny, or the jump off of it. Doing it again. Rubydragon really is not that far behind Cookie at this point. I would say about 45 seconds to a minute. I'm gonna mark down Cookie's time, 12:56 coming out of chapter 4. We'll see what Ruby gets coming out of chapter 4 as well. The Cookie's now in chapter 5. One of the more interesting stages, in my opinion, being able to use these dash blocks. Rubydragon gets 13-13. So our runners are 20 some odd seconds apart from each other, so this race is still very close. It could in fact come down to Summit when it gets there. But Chapter 5 mechanics are probably the coolest mechanics in my opinion, because a continuous dash forward from the bubble, and then all of the moving blocks that when you dash, you can see Cookie just taking advantage of him right there, getting even a corner boost. Stuff like that can happen in this chapter, and it's very cool to watch how runners do it. Going for the double bubble skip, gets it. Second try, that is incredible. You don't really often see runners like go for that in a race, since it's one of the more difficult, if not the most difficult trick in the game because of corner boosting. Let's see if Rubydragon decides to go for it here. Just like that, Cookie's done with the first part of Chapter 5. Ruby not going for double bubble skip. It probably saves about like 5 seconds or so. Not even that. But it does take all the time for the bubble to dash across the screen and then go back. So yeah, I would say about 5 seconds. So both runners now in the secret portion here. You're going to be seeing seekers being taken advantage of. He seems to be going for something here. Opposite of the safer path. I don't know what they were trying to do there. But you'll see the seekers be used for various purposes, like activating switches, knocking down walls that our runners want knocked down. You'll see right there on Cookie screen that seeker not only explodes the wall, but also gets the switch activated. So you'll see some of that come out. One of those optimizations that are really good, not having to worry about the seeker too much, take advantage of it. Not as costly a death right there for Rubydragon. Alright, Cookie coming up here on key skip. Or search skip, rather. It gets it very quickly. Rubydragon did not get the activation of the switch right there by the Seeker, so to do it themselves. Ruby coming up on search skip. Not even like a setup, I would consider that. It was just very clean movement. Cookie's now in the Theo section. Management of Theo means that you do not get a dash while holding him, and you can throw him to activate switches and whatnot. So watching our runners make use of Theo, that'll be one thing to take note. Proper optimization of Theo is rather difficult. So like that boost right there that you saw on Cookie screen was one of those kind of timing based portions of the section. Jumping off at the right time, get the optimal distance of the boost. One of those. Just like the Cookies on the last area here for chapter 5. Would be not all that far behind. Chapter 6. being started by Cookie. Ruby taking a death near the end of that room. That is one of the more costly ones. And that room is pretty short, so it's not super costly. Hey, Ruby's now on the last room of Chapter 5. So, Shockwave giving him a little bit of an issue, but finishes it. So, Ruby's time, I believe. Note of it real quick and get a comparison. 1846. So we've got it's like a 50-second lead for Cookie right now. So honestly, the battle and fight will give us our splits going into the summit. If Battleland just is really rude to our runners, we could see the gap very easily close. He just destroying some of these rooms. But underneath that block opts for the low path. You'll often hear a lot of good runners at this game, top tier runners, say that always go low. But it is just a choice in the end. I don't think it's been officially proven if top or bottom paths are the most efficient. If it is, it's by frames. It's not a really big deal. So whatever path you're more comfortable with is probably the better path in a non-task setting. Okay, going for the developer intended skips here. Super simple runners like this at this caliber. And see Cookie go for this battle and boost. Oh, doesn't get it. Oh, it looks so good though. They had it. So enter the battle and fight here. We're essentially fighting ourselves. The attacks we have to look out for is an orb attack, a laser attack, and then in phase 2, the moving blocks will be able to rush us. We don't have to worry about the blocks so early in the first phase because they only activate after we damage Battlein. Gothelin, mirror me. Battlein sticks with me. Nice ultra coming out from Cookie there. Always watching runners go for ultras is neat because you have to be careful on ultraing because you can easily lose your dash before going into the ultra, and then you're just stuck in the air with no dash and you can take a death that way. Ruby going for this skip here, gets it. So now they'll be starting their battle and fight in about a minute. phase 2 started here by Cookie, so now we'll introduce... Oh, jumps off the block a little too early. We'll introduce the moving blocks before we damage battling. And going to somebody in chat talking about the ultras. Yeah, ultras, if you're not really comfortable with them, even going from like a wave dash or anything else, they can just shoot you off guard and you're dead. Alright, just like that, the phase 2 fight for Cookie is done. They are now leveled up. They are moving towards their summit climb. This is a very good time for Cookie. There's been a couple unfortunate deaths, but overall this climb is very good. 2409 going into the summit. This is looking like a 34-35 if there's no major mistakes in the summit, so... So the summit explained is you start with chapter 6 mechanics at the very bottom, and then as you move up the summit, every 500 meters, your mechanics change from the ones that you've seen previously, going between chapter 1 all the way through chapter 5 again. So I'll bring them up as they come about, but chapter 6's mechanics here are just about done as quickly as I explained that. So moving on to 500 meters here, chapter 1 mechanics. You'll see a lot of movement optimizations like we saw in chapter 1. Just add another dash into the mix and you'll notice that these levels just go right by. Making a use of the reverse dash there. Rubydragon on the last stage here of the battle and fight. No inopportune deaths come out, which doesn't look like it. They're gonna be done here, gonna get their level up, gonna move towards their summit. Alright, 1000 meters, chapter 2 mechanics. So this is where you'll see some ultras come out from the dash blocks. I'm assuming Cookie will be doing them because of the level, or their PB is very good. So. Ruby's time is a 25:50, like 53 coming out of chapter 6, so we're looking at about a 2-minute difference between our runners. Cookie exiting chapter 6 with a 24:09, so it's roughly about a minute 45-second difference between the runners. Cookie's done with 1000 meters, moving on to 1500 meters, chapter 3. Cycle-based mechanics coming back. This is, in my opinion, the most difficult of the metered climb. Oh, Cookie dying on that very long room. Cookie's PB is a 33:43. But at the moment, this is looking like a 35. Ultras, very hot. It's one of the easier rooms to do ultras in. but it looks impressive every single time you see it. Franker Z, pay respects. Alright, Ruby is in their chapter 2 portion here, 1,000 meters, while Cookie is entering their 2,000 meters chapter 4. And that strawberry there, it's actually the more optimal path to be taking. Very nice extended hyper there. Ruby going underneath the block there, very nice. Coming up on the end of their 1,000 metered. Nice optimization there from Cookie, just doing the wall bounce there to get up there. They'll be coming up on the end of their 2,000 meters in a few screens. Still looking like about a minute and a half time difference here between our runners. Ooh, that death from on Ruby is harsh to see. Making it that much more difficult to come back, and then changing the cycle of the room. Ooh. He having a little bit of difficulty, but overcomes it pretty easily. Going for key skip here. First try. Expect nothing less. These runners are top tier. Ruby on 2,000 meters. Did I miss door skip? I missed it. Just watching Ruby's screen. Nope, it's right here. There, he gets the first one. The second one, flawless, saving millennia of time. Uh-oh, okay, let's see the recovery coming out from Cookie. Okay, gets it. That was pretty close. That dash kind of messed him up. Resets the blocks at the bottom of the screen on that screen. So, here we are, 3,000 meters, 30 flags, and then Cookie will finish the race. This is where a lot of, I wouldn't call them optimizations, but I would call them light skips come out here from our runners. Developer intended strats could be, are not very often used here, but our runners are going to be doing everything here as quick as possible, going developer intended, not developer intended. So feel free to count the flags down as we go here. Just as soon as I'm done explaining what this section is, the downward draft portion, Cookie needing a dash there, they'll already be done. So just as quick as they entered the downdraft, they are out of the downdraft. Going into updraft portion here. Flag 19. This is probably my favorite area of the summit because of the floatiness, the ability to kind of take more risks because of the amount of floating that you can do. And then you also get more unique rooms because of the light gravity. But there's really no like super skips that are going to be coming out here. Most of these rooms are pretty straightforward. How well can you optimize your movement in this section? Depends on how quickly you can do it. We're already down to flag 9, so this is looking like he's raced to lose at this point. I don't expect anything terrible to come out. Already at flag 6. Flag 5. And the Ruby is entering their 30 flag climb. Overall, this is looking like a very strong run from Cookie. Ouch. Flag 1 not being very nice to Cookie today. And that is time for Cookiepocalypse with a 34 flat. Congratulations on the win, Cookie. If you were interested in an interview, join me in the Speed Gaming Discord. We'll get an interview for you. Get your GGs in chat. For those asking what Ruby's PB is in chat, it is a 33-43, so only off of PB by 17 seconds. It's a very strong run. Be on flag 12. Rubydragon is actually still on pace for EB if they can get it in 2 minutes, which is not impossible from flag 11. Unlikely, but if a strong run or a strong movement comes out, it's definitely possible. Flag 6. Got a minute 15 go before PB is done. 4 flags. It's going to be very close, folks. I'm joined here by Cookiepocalypse, GG.
That if I hadn't been dumb in chapter 2, that'd have been such an easy PB.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like 17 seconds off, there was so many deaths that you just like dashed into Spike starting out in a room.
Yeah, honestly, there were a bunch of splits that like felt really bad, but they were like still okay. Like my resort felt really bad, but it was only like a couple seconds off my ILPB. I don't know how I still managed to like 508 that. And then I actually did ILPB in reflection by like 2 seconds.
Oh, nice. Yeah, you had like a, I wouldn't call it a sloppy reflection, but like there was definitely optimizations that you could do. I don't know. That's also GG to Rubydragon. Let me see what their final time is. If I can get that. Let's see. It is a Are they gonna go through the cutscene? They are not. 36:24. That is a PB for Ruby by 12 seconds. Congrats on that PB. They're also welcome to join for the interview. So, what is the best room that you think that you had during your race? Cookie.
I guess I would say like the that one room in the Badland fight with like the ultra strat or whatever it is.
The ultras.
Where you like skip the feather with the ultra. And that's like the first time I've actually properly gotten that.
That's neat. Ruby, welcome. GG. Well, congrats on your PB.
Yeah, GG, thanks.
GG.
Oh my god. That's
So,
like too.
I'm actually like not gonna try to be rude here, but the deaths that you were taking at Flag 2 made me very nervous. You were not gonna get your PB.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I just was like, I'm already through it, so I looked at my time and somehow died there at this corner.
No, but that was a really cool race to commentate. You guys were going into chapter 4, I believe. You were only off like 4 seconds from each other, and then the gap kind of got a little wide going into chapter 5 and 6.
Yeah.
But overall, a good race. What do you think your strongest point was in that race, Ruby?
I think chapter 5 was for me really good. I don't know. It could be that it was a new. No, it wasn't an ILPB for me, but it was really good for me. Also, Reflection was pretty good, but that was because of the fight. The first half was really bad. I don't know. That was bad, yeah.
And actually, also talking about my run, I'm like really glad that I got double bubble skip first try.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like,
I either
God.
get it first try or like 7th or 8th try.
Yeah, that corner boost was really, really kind to you. But yeah, you guys had anything else you want to say about your runs? Anything you want to say to the audience?
Just thanks for commentating and and Speed Gaming for hosting it.
My pleasure. It's always fun watching these races because I'm not that good of a runner of this game myself. So when I do see somebody first try double bubble skip or like flawless door skip every single time, it's just pretty amazing to see. So, Cookie, you got anything you want to throw in here?
No, just thanks to everyone for watching, and shout outs to the commentators because there's a ton of matches, and like there aren't really enough people to commentate all of them a lot of the time.
Yeah, not to like try to boast about myself, but like I'm like kind of sick today. I felt pretty sick this morning, but knowing there's a lack of commentary in the community right now, and this is like the last week of group stages. I didn't want to like try to get off the commentary for today, even though like this race was really fun to watch and commentate. So I'm glad I didn't. But if anybody is interested in like doing commentary later on in these races, like Celeste community would very well appreciate it. You don't even need to be like a super good runner. Like, I think my PB is like over an hour, but like I'm still able to do it. You're more than welcome to join us. But yeah, with that being said, appreciate everybody watching. I believe, let me check the Celeste schedule. Here, I believe our next match is, went to speedrun.com. Gaming. It is at 4 p.m. between David and Chrono. They're going to be on Speed Gaming 4. So if anybody's interested in watching more Celeste, there is that. But other than that, that will do it for us. Any closing thoughts for you guys?
No.
Cool. All right. Thank you everybody else for watching, and have a good rest of your day.